N8N absolutely dominated 2025 as an AI automation platform. And here you can build any AI agent and integrate it really easily with over 500 different applications. But here are some parts of the platform that I see people trip up a lot. So in this video, I will give you my top 10 tips working within N8N in just 10 minutes, especially focusing on the underutilized and trickier parts of the platform to make you 10 times better within N8N. So let's start right into it. Alright, so the first tip we have is around error workflows, and this is super important for making your N8N workflows production ready. So you have to handle well when something goes wrong. Now if I search for error, I have this error trigger. Super easy to add, and I will show you how to hook this into another workflow in just a second. But you can do things like here, send a Telegram, Slack or Discord messages, or even send yourself an email. So you know to go and handle whatever went wrong within your workflow. And setting this up is really easy. So we have to just publish this workflow, and I will just name it version 1, and then we have to go back to the overview section. So within another workflow that you want to catch an error, go to these three dots and then on settings and then select the workflow. So I will just name it error workflows and then click on save, and then boom. Now if anything goes wrong in this workflow, it's going to trigger that other workflow and send us a Telegram message. Really useful for having production monitoring. And the tip number 2 is around the most powerful node is N8N, which is called as HTTP request node. And if I just search for HTTP here, and here we have HTTP request. So basically it allows you to integrate any third party service or functionality even if N8N has not built an integration for it. Now many people don't know that a HTTP request is quite easy to use because of this button called import call command here. So now every third party service you want to integrate here as an API, which means your automation can access that service programmatically. In almost every API documentation, you will find an example of how to set an HTTP request in curl format. You might have to dig through a docs a bit, but usually you have to select a different programming language. And in this case, we will integrate something from OpenAI. So I will just go to OpenAI platform, and here we have different programming languages like JavaScript, Python, C Sharp, and then we have curl. So I will just copy this curl command and now go back to N8N and click on import curl, and I will just paste that command here and just click on import. Now N8N automatically fills out all the necessary field based on the curl data. At this point you have already 80-90% of the way there, and you have to make a few small adjustment. Like here we have the bearer API key, so we have to change that to our OpenAI API key to get HTTP request working exactly as we want. And now the tip number 3 is how to work with your previous node output in your current node. And what I mean by that is, if I click on this edit field node here, and here I reference the keyword suggestion from the previous node right here, which is split out node that I have. And the way that you get this output on right hand side is you just have to run a test execution by clicking on test tab, and you will have this output. Now if I drag it in like this, that's how it creates that expression to reference the value from the previous node. And you are going to do this kind of thing basically in every single workflow. But here's where people get wrong. This way of referencing a previous node only works for the node that was just ran, so the one right before it. For example, if you want to reference this node to the 2 or 3 nodes back to the HTTP request node, you actually have to reference the name of that node. So we have reference HTTP request here. And now I will go to the HTTP request first, and here we have all this raw output here. And now if I go to the test node, and as we reference the HTTP request node, we have all this raw output showing in the test node. Now the tip number 4 is, when you are building AI agent inside N8N, a lot of time you want them to be an API endpoint. So you have this URL within other platforms like OpenWeb UI or custom Python code or any SaaS point. There's a lot of different platforms you want to integrate with, and that way you can do is through a webhook node. So you have this as an entry point into your agent. But it's also nice to be able to test your agent right in the platform with this chat widget right here. The way you add this is, you search for chat here, and we have this chat trigger here. and you can actually have both trigger at once, and no other automation platform offers this flexibility. And you just combine these together into this edit field which has this specific JavaScript syntax to grab whichever value is defined. It's not going to matter which input it comes from. Like my last message, hello there, which is right here. So essentially, if chat input is defined, it grab this value. Otherwise, it get the body of the web request. So this is the chat trigger. This is the webhook trigger. And here we have this chat widget to test it within N8N, which is super valuable. A lot of people don't know that in N8N you can make your results absolutely perfect. I mean 100% perfect by using a node from category called human in the loop, and it describes as waiting for approval or human input. So we have different chat applications here like Discord, Slack, Telegram. So in this case we are using Telegram, and I will just execute this workflow, and now I will send a Telegram message here, and now we have the workflow running, and what it does is it send us a Telegram message for approval here, and here we have the message. So we can approve this post or decline it. So in this case I will just decline it, and once the action is recorded, now let's move back to the end, and if I open up my Telegram node, and the here operation should be failed, and now here approved as false, and here it will not directly post into my LinkedIn account. It will first ask for approval, and now I have rejected that post, so it will not post on the LinkedIn. And if we approve that, it will directly post onto the LinkedIn. So this is really useful for making your AI results 100% perfect. Tip number 6 is data pinning, a very underutilized feature of N8N, because a lot of time when you are in your workflow, you need to execute so that you have the output. Now, if I just write AI agent here, and now our workflow is running, and now if I open up my AI agent node, we have the AI response here. But when I refresh N8N and close and come back, I will lose this. I have to execute this test event again. And now we just pin that data here, and now we will save that workflow, and now even if I hard reload it, we will see that specific output is going to be there. I don't have to execute the test event again. So this speeds up the development process a lot, and it also saves you token cost. So LLM responses cost token, and we have to minimize that cost. When you set up the workflow, the settings or configuration of that workflow usually spread across multiple nodes. Like here in the limit, we have this is the setting, and in the AI agent, we might have the AI response format, and here it is. So this is the setting too. And in the Telegram node, we might have the chat ID, and here we have the chat ID. So this is the setting too. So instead of keeping things scattered across different nodes, you can create a node directly after the trigger. And for that, we will use the edit field node. So I will just drag the edit field node, and now we will define the settings here. And I will define the limit, and we will just keep it to the 3. Then we have the AI response format, and I will just paste the response format here. And then we have the chat ID, and I will just paste the chat ID here. And then we rename this node to the settings. So, and then you can go back into each node and replace the hard coded values with these reference of this configuration or setting node. So I will just drag it here, and in the AI agent, I will just change this AI response format to the I will just find the settings here, and I will just drag this here in the AI response format. And now in the Telegram chat ID, I will change that chat ID to this uh, settings chat ID, and we will just place it here too. So this keeps working the automation same, but centralize all workflow setting into one place. The advantages are you can quickly make changes or test variation by editing a single node. And if you update the workflow setting, it will spread across all the different nodes. And if you update the workflow setting, you can be confident that those settings are applied everywhere in your workflow. So my last few tips here are going to be more recommendations related to AI agents. And the eighth tip we have is a lot of N8N tutorials shows using simple memory for agent and simple vector store for RAG system. I would highly recommend not using any of these because these memories do not scale when you get some users on the platforms, and they don't perform very well for production ready systems because these are not some sort of databases. These are just for the workflow run. And what I would recommend instead is very easy to set up is Supabase because it provides a fully managed Postgres SQL database with PG vector support. Supabase is built on top of Postgres SQL. You can use it to store the chat memory in vector stored and query the embeddings for retrieval during conversation. So still the one platform, but it's going to be the production ready and very scalable. And the ninth tip is around what large language model or LLM should we use in our N10 workflows. And should the short answer is it depend on your use case, but I will just give you a general recommendation. We have different options here, but I would say if you want the absolute best LLM, I would choose Anthropic and go with Claude Opus 4.5. And if you want something really fast, then I will go with Grok or Alama. And finally, for something that's very affordable but still very strong, I will choose OpenAI. So we will choose any OpenAI model here. And then for the embeddings, I would highly recommend to choose text embedding 3 small here for your RAG systems. And that brings us to our final tip, which is start learning RAG. RAG is super important right now. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. This is just a fancy term that basically means you provide data into AI that it has not been trained on. This could be relevant example you could include a PDF document, your company document. The reason it makes the AI so much better because these LLMs we use in our AI agents got incredibly smart, but if they are not trained on your data or your company document, they simply cannot perform well. If you provide necessary examples or information, they can produce excellent results. A lot of people are intimidated by RAG because it really involves vector databases, but it's not as difficult as it sounds. And if you are interested in learning RAG system, make sure to subscribe this YouTube channel right now because we have many videos coming out related to RAG system in coming days. So you will be notified first. And the bonus tip we have is never miss an important N10 update. If you always want to stay up to date about N10 latest news, you can go to the website link github.com n10.io n10/release. On this page, N10 publishes all of the new version and all the update they release. Usually they release one bigger version with new features every few weeks. You can identify these bigger updates because the version number always end with 0. That means that the release include some new features. For example, this version was released 5 days ago, and here you can see a list of new features that N10 has added. Or alternatively, you can just subscribe to this YouTube channel, and whenever there is a new bigger update on N10, I will definitely make a video on that. And that's it for this video, and I really hope that this video saved you a lot of headache working with N10. It's a fantastic platform, but there are some tricky parts to it. And I will be releasing more content related to N10, so stay tuned for that. And if you are looking forward to it or you found any value in this video, so I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.